Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this very special figure showcase and review, we're going to look at the figure that shouldn't have been, to be honest. We're going to be looking at, of course, the 1984 bumblejumper figure. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a quick look at him in both of his modes. We're also going to, of course, do the comparisons between him, hubcap, cliffjumper and bumblebee, just to, I know, prove that he is his own separate mold. I'm also going to try and give you a bit of a story about this and perhaps why this could have actually happened. And as I'm lucky enough to have one in a package, this is a reseal, by the way, guys. It's not a sealed one, and it's also not a KO. We're going to have a look at the beautiful artwork and indeed the packaging that he did come in. So before we get started, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to the channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now, please, because it really will help me out. Right, let's move this guy out of the way for a second and have a look at the actual robot. So this is just a standard Generation 1 minibot figure, as I say, but the thing with this figure is it shouldn't have existed. So what I mean by that is, of course, he didn't have his own card. He was never released by himself. It's only sort of since since quite a few years after that they even, I think they renamed him Bumper and things like that. I prefer the name bumblejumper, and the reason why he got the name bumblejumper was because, of course, he was a little bit like, and I say a little bit, not exactly like, where's my bumblebee? Here he is. I nearly picked up the missing link one by mistake. So of course he was like Bumblebee, which was yellow, but he was also like Cliffjumper, that also came out yellow as well. Now these figures, along with Gears, a Huffer and a couple of others, they were all pre-Transformers available in Japan. So again, the story about this is the fact that Hasbro could have brought this particular figure, but they just chose not to. I think the main reason behind it, and I might be wrong, is they chose the 6 minibots, which were of course wave 1, but also with Bumblebee and with Cliffjumper they released them in red colours as well, obviously. So that meant they would have 8 and they wouldn't need a completely different mould as well. So as I say, these were available as I say, sort of penny racer figures in Japan first and foremost. So the reason being, or the reason how they got packaged up, I don't think anybody actually knows. I've tried to find out as much as I can about them. And do you know what I mean? As I say, it's just so elusive. It's just one of them things. Loose figures you'll see pop up quite a bit now, because people, not say quite a bit, they are still quite rare, but you know, it's not too difficult to find a loose one. I've been told on numerous occasions already this year that there was loads at the last TF Con. I think it was in Toronto, funnily enough. I'm sure somebody told me there was 6 there, which is crazy, to be honest. But what we've got here is we've got some other variants. So we've got, these are Estrella variants, I'm sure they are. Let me just double check, which is a Brazilian. These are the South American minibots. So these weren't the Takara ones, unfortunately. These are the ones that were released in South American countries, as I say. So you got your Antex figures, you got your Estrella from Brazil, and there's also another couple. I'm sure there's a green one of these as well, which is still eluding me, but they're just so cool. They've got a completely different head sculpt to, of course, what Bumblebee and indeed what Cliffjumper had, and of course this guy as well. Let's not forget hubcap. Everybody sometimes thinks that perhaps it's hubcap. They've of course got the same back part. What I mean by the head sculpt, you can see, is very different. The funny thing about the Cliffjumper head, if you have a look at it properly, then if you go and have a look at Pretender Bumblebee's head, they use the Cliffjumper head for Pretender Bumblebee. So there's another little bit of a crazy fact for you right there. And of course this is the Bumblebee head before, of course, they changed it for the Walmart reissues. So I always wonder, you know, what would have happened if this had been released as a proper figure at that, you know, at that particular time. So the facts that we do know, or the only facts that we've got on him, is that he's only ever been seen on a Cliffjumper card, I believe. And again, this could be complete hearsay, but for again discussing this with some of my people who I call my Transformer oracles, people who know loads of stuff way more than me. Apparently there's only ever been 10 known sealed examples of these seen or registered, but again, we don't know who the owners are, and of course they are keeping them very closely guarded and not letting us know who they are. Now the reason why also we know this only came out in 1984 is because the minibots were only packaged in alternate mode in 1984. From 1985 they started packaging the minibots in robot mode. So we've got the 84 battle scene on the back, and as I say, this isn't one of the KOs because we've got all the official trademarks and everything at the back. As I say, this is a very, very clever reseal by my good friend Tim Banerjee, and I just wanted to, I suppose, share it with you, because lots of people talk about bumblejumper or bumper, whatever it is. It's always going to be talked about quite a lot, as I say, for the fact that we don't know too much about him, and it would have just been great if we'd have had, perhaps, shall we say, an official release of this particular figure. It would have been, I presume he would have been an Autobot, but it would have been nice if he could have perhaps been a Decepticon, because of course we didn't get Decepticon minibots, we got the cassettes. There isn't really much more to say about him, because as I say, I don't think we've had any proper updates of this particular figure. We are expecting some, but I am expecting some, with the fact that they're making all the deluxe figures all the mini bots into deluxe figures, as we know. So as I say, let's just very quickly have a look at the alternate modes again to see that they are different. That's a Mazda, I believe. I don't know too much about cars. There's your hubcap, there's your cliffjumper, there's your bumblebee, and there is of course your bumblejumper figure. So there he is. Just thought you guys would want to see him. I've had loads of questions on Instagram regarding him since I put since I suppose I revealed him as a Monday mystery reveal. But there he is, guys. That is 1984. These aren't 1984, that is 1984 bumblejumper. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys, and have you seen any sealed, or do you know the owner who does have one sealed? Don't worry if you do and he doesn't want you to reveal who it is. I just find it very, very interesting. But there he is. Let me know what you think in the comments. Take care.